All right, everybody. So, yeah, this is an episode where stuff happens. I was going,
Stuff puts it lightly.
I was going out of my way to not even remotely try and talk about the possibility of this happening because I wanted this to be raw. Because the first time I saw this, I didn't see this coming. Not in the first episode of them being over there, I didn't, but all Mike messaged me before this episode was, whoa, and oh boy, that second half gets heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is episode 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget this minute, this second. Guided by Simone and Nia's feelings for each other, Team Gurren break through dimensions in search for the anti-spiral's homeworld. But after falling into the enemy's trap, they end up losing some of their most precious members due to its vicious offensive. Fuck, where do I even begin?
I'll just give you a list of names. Zorthi, Iraq, Kid, Makin, Jorgen, and Balinbo, and almost Gimme and Dari.
That's a lot of names.
Remember when before this episode happened, we're like, we're going to run you through everybody that's on the ship.
I had a feeling there was something behind that.
And you notice that when they played the eye catch, everyone in the eye catch died?
Yep.
Yeah. Supposedly. And I've never got this confirmed through an interview or anything, but even with them supposedly saving basically half their budget for these last episodes, supposedly for budgetary reasons, that's why they all got offed.
I mean, I get it. If you're working with like a limited budget, even with saving money, if you're working with a limited budget and you feel that your cast has become overpopulated, overcrowded, I completely understand the completely like technical like mandate of cutting back.
Yeah.
Emotionally, however, boy does that mess you up.
It does. And for this reason, I will tell you, if you are ever able to watch the movies, this is handled a little differently because they didn't need to chip chop with budget and kill off a bunch of people right away. So there's a little bit more and you don't quite have this, but man, I will say it helps with an episode later. It's weird to say, but again, it is done for a reason. But yeah, it's just, and it's not at like sparsely done. It's soon as Zorthi's grabbed, like everyone's just, and it's like I was reading through a bunch of comments and like stuff to get the factual stuff that like Sharon here, and like people that are going through all this are like, there's characters that they didn't care about in the show, and then in that second they were like crying because like,
oh yeah,
like Iraq and Kid, you get to see I think 10 minutes of them in the show total. And they go out together. They're the ones that go, Simone, we're not making it. You fucking go get Nia. That's her last thought. Like, in seconds, you made them two of the coolest characters in the show. That's all it took.
All it took, just one line of dialogue.
Like,
also, what are the names of the twins, Jorgen
and Balinbo?
Fucking, even they get a moment to shine.
They save Gimme and Dari, and one of my favorite things they do in the entire show that is so them, and it matches their one-note joke through the entire show. They just laugh maniacally, being able to be by each other and kicking down the enemy as they basically self-destruct to save those two kids. And they do it happily.
And you know what this all comes down to is it all goes back to the relationship between Simone and Nia.
Mm-hmm.
Like this gets into interstellar shit with the like love that binds the universe.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Like you get to see a full scale like Jesus parody of Nia, and with the most so adorable censorship on the planet. There's a giant naked woman up there. No, there. What are you? What the hell? Why'd you have to be naked? Because it's anime.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's disappearing. Only the parts we can't show on camera. But yeah, the sad part is basically half of this episode is them giving reasons for Simone to absolutely murder everything that even resembles an anti-spiral, which again you have not even seen yet.
Almost there.
Almost there. It's just like it gets to these moments where it's like people are in the show and they get their moments to shine, and I really appreciate that. But at the end of the day, they do have to let people keep knowing this is about Simone and Nia. At the end, Simone wants to save the day, but God damn it, it's about that kid getting his girl back.
Yep. The way the show handles its like ridiculous cast is very economical.
Mm-hmm.
Also, although the second half is like where it gets heavy,
mm-hmm.
this still packs in the humor.
Oh yeah.
Like when Yoko says, I have kids to get back to, Kitan goes, "You have kids? Since when?"
What? Girls gotta keep her. Girls gotta have some secrets. And yeah, it is very good on the humor, and it has a lot of also the we're not going to acknowledge just how fucking ridiculous what we're doing is. Again, they treat it like they're taking out the garbage. Simone, come back here. We need to make the Super Galaxy Gurren human mode, and not paraphrasing, not hyperbole, nothing. Lord Genome says, once it is complete, you will be rivaling the power of a microcosmos.
And I also just love what's hold on, I'm looking up the actor who plays Lord Genome.
Oh yeah, you mentioned his name. I can't remember what he is, but he's in a bunch of Netflix stuff. I remember we discovered that the other day.
Jameson Price.
Yes.
I love his completely monotone delivery as he's now been reduced to the head.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna lie, there are times when he kind of sounds like Christopher Sabat when he's voicing like Piccolo or.
You're not wrong. He does sound a lot like when Piccolo is like being serious, like his dad, like Piccolo is basically being Gohan's dad because Goku is useless as a father type of thing. Yep. Like in those moments, he does like that low growl that he gets in his voice sometimes. He does, you are very right. He does sound like that. I never thought about that until now. Now that you said that, that's very true. But you talked, there's been several times where you're like, I can't believe that the show is not a meme. It might be my favorite meme of the entire show. and it pops up on Twitter at least once a year because like I follow an anime memes page on Twitter, and there is no way humanly possible to describe a full couple seasons of an anime in one line. You mean to tell me we're going to need an even bigger drill?
When Simone says that, that's when the audience is like, wait a minute.
It's like, that's all it is. We talk about it all the time. They just started with Lagann with a drill that was maybe like 2 feet by 1 foot long. And every episode is just, we're going to need an even bigger one. It never fails.
This show could basically be summed up as, we need a bigger boat, the anime.
It pretty much is. It is very much, oh man, oh wow. I just lost it. The name of the captain in Jaws. I just lost it.
Hold
Oh my gosh.
on.
Holy blonde moment, Batman.
Hold on. Mike to the rescue.
It's a very simple, like basic name. It's not anything out of the ordinary.
Brody.
Okay. But yeah, he's like, just, we're going to need a bigger boat. I can't, but yeah, oh, man, this is going to be one of the shortest review episodes we have for one of the latest episodes because we like each one of them. We're not going to try and focus on the deaths too much, even though that was literally 75% of this episode. Each one of them gets their cool little moments. Like one of my favorite ones outside of Jorgen and Balenbo laughing maniacally as they explode. And just, you take care of each other. Our twin Lagann is real strong. We'll get you back. And I have to ask you a question also before I forget. Makine's death, when the hacks bullshit that just keeps happening, where it's like, oh, they fired him from over there. Wait, they're going to open up a portal 2 feet off our starboard bow and launch a missile that's 100 feet long. And in a flash, Makine, for anyone who's a Devil May Cry fan, just straight up stingers that missile and it explodes. And Leyte didn't even have enough time to register that it was Makine. And then they're just like, no, we picked up a signal right before it exploded. They're like, what stopped it? They're like, it was the energy barrier. And then Genome, again, with the most monotone delivery humanly possible. Yeah, the energy blast stopped part of it, but it could not have taken a direct impact. It's just like, way to make it even sadder. Like, and then they have to think about who died because they couldn't even see it. It was that fast. Oh.
Like I said, the second half is when it gets really heavy.
I have to ask you, did you like, obviously, like Zorthy, Kid, Iraq, all these people that were like, basically whenever they have the big moments, they're in the fight. But other than that, they weren't really like story people. So you weren't shocked when all of a sudden, all right, they're going to bite it. You're like, okay, I get it. They need to show that sacrifices can be made. Did you think Dari was going to die?
I was worried. I was worried that if she didn't die, she'd be like in critical condition. But given the pattern that the show has, where they will never kill off children. It's always the generation above them.
Yep.
that makes the sacrifice so the next generation can live.
Yep.
So to answer your question, in hindsight, I knew she wasn't going to die, but while watching it, I was worried.
Oh yeah, man, that was another one where people were like, they really didn't like. Also, everybody that I read these comments when I was looking through these forums for stuff to mention in this episode, Shame on every one of you that said they didn't care about Gimme and Dari until they were almost going to die. Shame on all of you.
Okay, who said that? I want names.
Go search Reddit. I found some comments that made me upset. You all have no souls. But yeah, let's try and focus on the cool stuff that happened in this episode.
Because this episode, until it gets, we'll get to the very end at the end, but until it gets there, like, being the Star Wars fan that I am, space and fights and lasers and things.
Yeah, you got to see the super space gunmen that, again, they have their in-world excuse for how they got them. Leyte brings up that place is just a major distribution port to make gunmen. So he's like, I didn't even really do it. It was this big thing. And you got to see some new attacks. You got to see the space sunbeam from Keaton, which you have not seen Keaton's coolest attack yet.
Oh,
you get to see it in the next episode.
Okay.
His best attack you get to see in the next episode. 2 of them, actually. You haven't seen 2 of them yet, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah. I just my brain just went with what I was going to talk about. But yeah.
Wait, there's something else I want to talk about. It's like the shot that you see, the arc Gurren Lagann and all the anti-spirals, and you see like all of their attacks like crossing, like colliding. Yep. And then you see like our attacks like passing right through.
Yep.
So like just that one shot I just completely gushed over.
Oh yeah. That they very much know how to do, and I say it a lot. I need to exactly look up where this is a reference from. I say it a lot. I say the term Atano circus quite a bit, and it's from Macross. Atano is best known for among anime fans for the style of action scene that he developed, usually called Atano circus. Macross missile massacre by fans. It refers to highly stylized acrobatic method of depicting aerial combat dogfights in anime, particularly the Macross series. And it's also where you just like popcorn of explosion going across the screen and like stuff like that. But yeah, they're very good at them.
Now I'm looking up some of Atano's works, and Mobile Suit Gundam, Angel Cop, Macross.
Yep.
SSS Gridman.
Yep. I have yet to watch it yet. I have no reason not to, because it's only like 12 episodes, I think. I just keep hauling it off because I wanted to watch it with a buddy, but quarantine sucks. So eventually I'm going to make him very upset, and I'm going to watch it if this crap doesn't get better. But yeah, it's just one of the coolest things that I love seeing. It's so simple, but just that rush of explosion just makes me feel like a kid again.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you always saw with like Gundam Wing, OS Team, and all that stuff growing up. But I think one of my favorite visuals is when you get to see Simone and Viral retreat to go charge up. And of course, Keaton literally kicks him in the ass and tells him to leave. That I thought was pretty great. But you get to see the visual of Viral and Keaton, like it basically docked into a charging station. And you get to see them charging inside of their mech, inside of another mech, inside of the Art Gurren, and all the drills are just byproducting them on through.
Yeah. that might actually be my favorite. Like the way like it like comes out like a kind of like a Russian doll of mechas.
Yes, exactly. I believe Russian nesting dolls. Is that what they're
I
called?
that might be like the official
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But it's just like, it's those moments where it's like, I can't draw a stick person. It blows my damn mind when animators can make that look so fluid. And
Right?
with all the drills spinning to where none of them look like they're out of place, it actually looks like the gears, like the threads, are like actually spinning the other one. It doesn't look like they're made out of sync. Just like, how did you not, like, I have rampant OCD. I'm an editor for a fan fiction that me and a buddy write for Ruby, and that is where I can put it to use. I would not be able to do those scenes even if I was talented, because I don't think I would be able to concentrate like, nope, that one looks a little bit off, and just like all of them look perfect. I can't get over how animators do stuff like this. I just, it's, whoa.
It's not just talent, it's like super talent.
Exactly. And like, it goes back to you remember, I want to say it was episode 4, the first time you meet the Black siblings, where the show got flack because it changed its art style for a little bit. Like, the original plan for the show is that they were going to do batches of episodes with animators. And then that episode is what stopped it.
Oh.
So then they had their team that went through, and I can't say I'm disappointed. I still, to this day, with OCD, can tell a little bit in that episode that that it's a little bit more angular with their lines and stuff. But like, there was a lot of crap hurled at that episode for how quote unquote different the animation was. I didn't think it was that bad. That's just me.
And I honestly wouldn't have, like, I wouldn't have picked up on it right away if it wasn't for, you know, reading that information.
And I didn't until after I rewatched it, after someone had told me about that. Couldn't even tell. It's like, it's whatever. But that's not the episode we're looking at. I wanted to ask you, when I said you were going to see some weird shit, the first anti-spiral outside of a Mugan that you got to see was a back to the faces blob of like Easter Island heads.
Yeah, it's like it. The anti-spiral. I thought I had their aesthetic down, and then this just shows up.
Yeah, the closest thing I could say is that they don't have one, because you like you said, you get to see like the techno satellite thing that was the Mugan, and then you get to see those blobs, and you get to see the faces. The anti-spiral doesn't look like anything like either of those.
Nope.
It's miles different. And like, there's a couple other things you're going to see that look nothing like those either. And I'm just like, it was one of those things where they just wanted to go, I don't know what their intentions were, but in my mind, they wanted to come up with the most just not happy looking things.
Yeah.
Like just abstract weird.
Yeah, like those forms, like the collage of faces. Not a single one was smiling, which, you know, anti-spiral, anti-fighting spirit, despair, yeah, all that.
Yep.
But just I'm sorry, I still can't get over just how different it is.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think they appear like in the same like kind of pixelated fashion. They just kind of burst out of the wormholes or something.
No, they don't do like the computerization. Like you basically saw, like, they even had like just a hatch dematerializing, and then they would go in, and the other ones they kind of just like barf them out and they're there.
It's weird. So weird.
Yeah. And I think that that's cool that they just went, let's come up with something they haven't seen. Who's got an idea for something that looks weird and sad? A thumb that's made of faces? Like, can you draw that? I got some sketches. Good job, Ted. Go in, go get him. It's like, I would like, and you like in the concept book, they've got other stuff, but it's just like I would love to see when they were trying to come up with what an anti-spiral would look like and what their forces would look like. What got left on the cutting room floor?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a lot weirder than what gunmen's got left over, because we kind of know what a gunman should look like.
Yeah, we know that gunmen have faces.
Yeah.
Faces and bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But anti-spirals could literally be anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So are you ready to talk about the end?
I am. How much were you expecting for them to just fall into an ocean sideways in the middle of space?
Like, the first thing that came to my head was Artemis sinking at like during that scene in The Neverending Story.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're not far off.
Because like that's totally what happened. Like the Gurren Lagann got swallowed up by like the Sea of Despair.
Boy, are you hitting it right on the head. That is very, very accurate. Because, not to spoil, it's something that is a construction of the anti-spirals that is something in their universe, and that is pretty much what it is. It's like, this is what, like, where I start to believe the rumor where it's like they save their budget, because it's just like, we could just have them fight in space and then the ship stays stationary. But what if there was an ocean in the middle of space that swallows up the ship? That's going to cost a lot. Yeah, but we saved a lot of money for this purpose, so we didn't have the same shit that happened with Neon Genesis Evangelion. We won't have that problem. We won't run out of money in episode 15 again. We saved it this time. We were smarter. Yeah, it's weird.
But this is the weird that I love. I'm all about this kind of, you know, I've said before how the first half of the series kind of, it has a more jovial tone, yep, which is great for warming you up to everything that comes after.
Yep. And yeah. Man, we are going to stop right before episode 26 tonight. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight waiting to talk with you about episode 26 and 27. Episode 26 and 27 are two of my favorite episodes of animes, period. Like shows, period. And it has some of the coolest stuff, but it's so simple. It's not going out of its way to be cool. It's just, it has purpose behind it from what you have gathered throughout the show, and it just pays it off. Chef kiss beautifully.
Man.
I know I am hyping up episode 26 a lot. Fuck, it's so good. Okay, so I have to ask, because I ask it every time, is there anything you would change outside of everyone not dying?
I mean, the short answer is no. The long answer is okay, we know that like Gimme and Dari are not going to die. So
excuse me.
I'm just thinking it's I understand the intent of Jorgen and Balambo coming in to save them. But man, just teasing the possibility gave me a heart attack.
Oh yeah. And especially with it being Gimme, it's so weird because like she's that much more innocent than Dari is, because Dari was all gun ho. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that the other way around. That Dari, well, like Gimme was more just, we're gonna go. I'm ready to fight. I'm sick and tired of staying back. And then she was kind of like, we need to be safer. We need to fall back and follow orders. And then she's the one that almost gets herself killed by blowing up that missile like 10 feet outside of her grapple unit. And then, like you said, you're giving a heart attack like, no. She did the thing she didn't want to do. Please, God, don't harm this little girl. Please, no. Because, like, that would have been... That I have to sit down for a moment. Like, I get all the rest of them were the crew that we've had for the longest time, but, like, those are the two kids that... The first two, like, young kids that they got on their team. Like, you want to talk about growing up? Simon was 14. I think both of them were like 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what? But on the plus side, this leads me to a compliment that I've wanted to say for a while. Okay. On the one hand, they do kind of overplay the damsel in distress trope.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with Yoko has been that for like 5 seconds. Nia is where she is now.
Yeah.
And Dari almost got dead.
Yep.
But they what the show never does, they never fridge the females.
Yes. That is very true. Please explain that for the people that don't know.
Okay, so for those who aren't familiar, women in Refrigerator is a comic book trope named by Gail Simone, but it's a trope that's been around for like decades, where like the female love interest to a male character will get killed simply for their significant other's development.
Yeah, and that was with, I have to remember, it's a Green Lantern. It was Kyle, right?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the name comes from Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, whose name I unfortunately cannot remember, but there's a very infamous panel of him finding his girlfriend like cut up in pieces inside his refrigerator.
Yeah, it's something else. And you guys want to hear, this is a real big sidetrack, but go look up, what is it? The guy's name's Jeremy Carver. He was a guy that became the showrunner after Sarah, I can't think of her last name.
Sarah Schechter?
On Supernatural. Can't think of her name. But after season 5 of Supernatural ended, Eric Kripke left the show, and this girl Sarah took over, and people weren't really impressed with how she ran it for those 2 years, so she got replaced by, I want to say the dude's name's Jeremy Carver, or I think her name's Sarah Campbell. Like, no, Sarah Campbell's.
Sarah Gamble.
Sarah Gamble, thank you. And then there's a point where there's this character, Charlie, there's this lovable geek and all this, and she eventually... She doesn't get fridged. She gets bathtubed.
Oh boy.
She just gets murdered and left in a bathtub after a while. And she was, imagine Nia as a Comic-Con goer. That's what Charlie was.
Oh, okay.
That she was that level of just awesome, and everybody loved her. And she was the little sis that Sam and Dean never had, and they like go out of their way to show how close they are very fast. And at a Comic-Con panel, I want to say it was a Hall H panel at San Diego, they bring up that, and they're just like, all the boys are always good and stuff like that, and we always have strong female characters and all this and that, and it's this big long rant, He's like, but then would you mind explaining to me why all of a sudden we had to leave Charlie dead in a tub? And Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki both just spin their chairs and go, yep, you got that one. They're like, that was the one question we were hoping you weren't going to ask. But yeah, that is something, that is a trope that I hate as well. Like, it is never... People, if you can think of one in the comments, please let me know where that was ever done in a good version. Like, okay, I will say there is one, and it's actually in Supernatural. You don't get to... She's off in the first episode. Sam's original girlfriend is literally pinned to the ceiling and lit on fire, and that's why he leaves college. It's still a push even in that one. But it's okay. If you guys can come up with a really good one that we're not thinking of, put it in the comments below. But yeah, we're in the last stretch of the last 3 episodes after this one. So, Mike, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CaptainK42. Check out my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups, just at my name. Check out Renegade Pop Culture's Facebook group and follow them on Twitter at Red Pop Culture. Check out the podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen. Last but not least, don't forget to check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Yes, we do. And especially at this time, like we've mentioned it, it's getting weird out there. But you can see me everywhere at Organoid Zero, this YouTube channel, mostly on Twitch. And a part of some of the pop culture, Renegade Pop Culture podcasts that Kiona and Mike have gotten me into, which I'm always going to be very grateful for. I love you guys. It's so weird that we're so close to being at the end of this. This light speeded a lot faster than what we wanted to, but that meant that Mike is liking the show, and I appreciate that. So, spin on. I love you guys, and we will see you next time.